Hi, Dave Shroder back again this week to give you an overview of what's been going on in the UK boxing scene on Weighing In with Travis Hartman. It was an excellent weekend of boxing in the UK. There was a couple of massive shows on, one in Manchester and one a little bit further south down in Wolverhampton, with some really important fights going on throughout the card. We start in Manchester where there was three real fights of note that took place on the card. First up was Scottish super welterweight Hannah Rankin, who I really feel for this girl. This is her second crack at a world title. She's a popular fighter in the UK. She should have won the first one. She was heavy favourite and lost. And history repeated itself at the weekend in what was a disappointing showing from her. A poor fight, not a lot of action, but it was very hard to score. She ended up losing a split decision. As the home fighter, you can't help but think she should have driven the action a bit more, and this was really probably her last chance of a world title. She lost to the Slovenian Emma Kozin for the super welterweight world title. Disappointing fight. She'll be kicking herself. She had a real opportunity and she only ended up losing by a round on two scorecards, but she could have done more, and I wonder where she goes from here. There was, though, another massive upset on that card. The British middleweight championship was on the line, and that's a belt with some real history. There's been some great fighters who fought for that belt and won that belt and have gone on to world title level and beyond. That was the talk for the current champion, Denzel Bentley. And he was up against an undefeated fighter, Nathan Heaney. But Nathan Heaney had been fighting at a low level and hadn't really fought anyone. He was undefeated in 17 fights, but this was a big step up for him. But he really took the opportunity and ran with it. I had him winning it by at least 7 rounds. He was, bullying the fight and running the fight, and was really leading from the front the entire way through. One of the judges did score it a draw, which was insane to me. Cannot see how that could possibly be the case. The other two, though, saw sense, gave it to him by 4 and 5 rounds apiece. And that was his life's ambition. His life's ambition, Nathan Heaney, was to become British middleweight champion, and he did that. I think it was great to see as well, by the way. He was over the moon. He was ecstatic. I don't think he's got much further. British, European, maybe Commonwealth. You're not going to see him over here, I don't think. But there's some big domestic and European fights for him at that middleweight limit. And I think, he's got a real opportunity to make some money and have a good career. The main event on that card, though, was one I was really looking forward to. Nick Ball, he's undefeated. He's the current featherweight hot contender in the UK, and he was fighting against Isaac Dogbo, a man who I mentioned last week. I've really enjoyed watching his career, and I love watching his world title fight. If you look at the scorecard for this, Ball wins it by 10, 11 rounds. That wasn't the case. Well, it was a lot closer than that. The majority of the rounds were close. Both fighters rocked each other. Dogbo rocked Ball early, second and third round. Towards the back end, Dogbo tired. But it was an exciting fight. And Nick Ball now becomes the mandatory for Ray Vargas' featherweight title for the WBC. Now, obviously, Ray Vargas last time out lost stepping up, trying to win at super featherweight. Not sure what's going to happen there. Is Ball going to be fighting for a vacant title, or is Vargas going to come down and defend? But you will definitely see Nick Ball. He's a front foot, aggressive, all action fighter, sort of in the mould of a Ricky Hatton. Perhaps not quite as good, but he's that type. He's aggressive and front foot. 100 miles or so away, further south in Wolverhampton, the UK's probably top most exciting prospect at the moment. Adam Azim fought for the European light welterweight championship against Frank Petitjean. Adam Azim models himself very much on Prince Nassim Hamed. He hasn't got that lights out one shot power. He's not throwing punches from the floor. He's not relying on his reactions for his defence. He's trained by Shane McGuigan. His fundamentals are sound, but he's spiteful and he's quick and he is skillful. He toyed with Petitjean. He knocked him down in the 5th. The corner threw the towel in the 10th, but really Azim could have stopped it at any point. He's 10-0 now with 7 stoppages. He wants world title fights quickly. I don't know that he's going to be mandatory for anyone anytime soon. He's got some steps to go for that, and I see him as a very high risk opportunity for someone to take for any kind of other fight outside of a mandatory. He's a good fighter. Probably needs 2, 3, 4 more fights at European and Commonwealth level, but he's someone you're going to see as well in the US, and he's someone who's charismatic and exciting, and I think someone you should look out for. There was a very sad end to the career of one of the UK's former world champions, the super flyweight world champion, Kal Yafai. He was the WBA super flyweight champion for 6 years, lost it last year. Had a fight this weekend, talking about the comeback trail, got just destroyed in a round, got put down twice. He then got stopped in the first and has decided to walk away from the sport, which to be honest, he didn't have it this weekend. I don't know whether or not he just lost hunger for it or whether they all caught up with him. He fought for the Great Britain in the Olympics, was world champion, like I say, for 6 years. Great career. Wish him well. Probably the right time to step away. But it was a sad, sad end. As we look forward this week, obviously it's the Taylor-Cameron fight. I'll nail my colours to the mast here. I'll stick my neck out. I think Cameron wins. I think Taylor's maybe just on the back nine now. Lots of wars she's been in, lots of tough fights, and Cameron's a great fighter. But regardless, I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a great event, and I'll be back next week to run through that and all the other things that happen in the UK this week on Weighing In with Travis Hartman.